What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Reseller Greatness Podcast. We have a familiar face, my main man, Arwen. He did the podcast about, 6 months ago, maybe? And then after we talked, I said, hey, if you ever want to come to America, I'm happy to show you everything. You came to America, you stayed with me for 1 week. You left for a couple of days and you said, you know what? I'm coming back for another week. And you came back for another week. We rock and rolled. We went to a lot of flea markets, some thrifts, some church sales. We did some dead stock buyouts at a warehouse. We did everything. You saw the warehouse, you saw the entire process. You came here as a 15 a day lister on eBay, fantastic business. You left here and made a commitment to be a 30 a day lister. You live in the UK. It's very different in the UK. They have a lot of different challenges acquiring inventory and things like that. But you have been listing 30 a day for 3 months now. The business is growing, everything is going good, business is looking good. But how's life, Arwen? How's everything going, my man? Everything good?
Everything good. First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here and to share like a little chat with you. It's always good to see you. Overall, everything is good. I think going back now, 3 months, I would say, going back to when I visited you in the US, I think that is probably the most life-changing event that has happened in my life and business. I would say. Um, Beyond what we documented on the videos, which are great for whoever hasn't seen them, please go and see them because they're amazing. I think I came back with a huge amount of like a mindset shift, as in I probably had to see it to believe it, to see what is possible, what eBay can bring you, what hard work, commitment, uh, discipline, I would say, listing every single day, can give you as a result of that hard work. And I saw that the first hand. I know I'm a privilege to have been able to share not only 1 week but 2 weeks with you,
Mhm.
and have seen so much from your beautiful country, from everything from business to every single sort of point of view. But yeah, I would say I just came back with this mindset of I believe that I can do it. I believe that I can be up there. And I think that's half of the battle is we sometimes think that there is other bigger resellers and we try to fight, not fight, but like compare each other with other people. But I think the first battle that we need to win is against ourselves, and just to believe that we can do something.
Very good. So you saw everything, all the way from the warehouse, the brick and mortar store, the flea markets. We even did yard work together and laid grass. And by the way, mate, the grass is looking beautiful. We did a tremendous job on that job. But you said you had to see it to believe it. What did you have to see to believe?
I had to see that being committed and being like staying with a plan. Where you always speak about plans, you always speak about having you always, for example, to give an example, every single day we already knew what was going to happen. Everything was always laid out. So whenever we have this sort of tunnel vision, whenever we write or draw that roadmap, that I'm here and I want to go there, whenever I saw, because obviously I saw you at the end of the tunnel, I saw the end already,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the fruit, the rewards of everything that you've done. I said this to you. I don't know when it was in the tree, but I said, if I had a paper and I could sign 15 years of hard work like you've done it to have what you have, I will sign it right now.
So the part that
So
scares
yeah.
people away, the part that scares people away is what you said. 15 years of hard work to have all the fruits of the labor. I will sign the contract. The hard work, people think that like 24/7, 365, nose to the grindstone, work 24 hours a day to get to the level that I'm at. And I understand why people think that because, you see me for an hour on Zoom, I'm talking about work. You see me make a YouTube videos, I'm working at the flea market buying stuff. Maybe I'm sourcing, doing deals. That's work. But like, I'm here to perform a job. I'm here to perform a duty. My job and duty is to make, good videos that are helpful, to go into the group and give the best advice, the most helpful advice, so all of you guys can make money. Like that's my job. That's my duty. But like outside of that, as soon as I turn off the computer, it's not hard. I didn't work hard work for 15 years straight, 24 hours a day. Did I do my work every single day for 15 years? Yes. But was it 24 hours a day, all consuming, like couldn't do anything else? The answer is no. And like, I know that people see the finished product. I know people see the huge business, other businesses, all of this, and it's probably difficult to understand or grasp that like you can have time for family. You can, do things with your kids, do things with your wives, and like you can do all of that stuff. And one of the biggest takeaways that you had was that when you work, you just work. You don't work and talk. You don't work and play around. You don't work and do some other kind of shenanigans. When we work and talk, we're going to work all day. When we work and do a shenanigans, it's going to take all day. When I work. And as soon as I'm done working, I'm off doing something else. So like you stayed here with me, my wife, my son. And on the first or second day, my son, he's around your age, a little bit younger. You guys went to Walmart. And that was your chance, Arwen. That was your chance to catch me slipping. When you guys went to Walmart, you got in the car, you asked my son and said, hey, did he really go to every single game? Did he really go to every single practice? Did he really go to every single assembly? Did he really go to every inconsequential thing that didn't matter in the grand scheme of things? And
He said, indeed, he never missed anything.
so you could do
And
both. We can do everything.
absolutely. And for me, the question was because I know your son comes from a sports background, like he's done sports just like I have. And
Mm-hmm.
I know how much commitment sports, especially at high level,
Absolutely.
demand from either the player himself and the parents to like support. So that's why when it comes to practice, games, and I mean, even everything behind, the pre-practice, the taking to practice, the games and everything, I was like, wow, okay, I can't say anything.
And like it's one thing, and I wasn't at practice on the computer doing work. I'm at practice, I'm locked in. In fact, I was coaching a lot of the practices. I coached a lot of his teams for a long time. So like when we say hard work for 15 years, I'll lock it in, I'll sign it. You're right. It is working every single day, but like I'm not working 24 hours a day. But the lens that a lot of people see me in is on this computer or on this camera, and all they see is work, 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 work. But like there's more to life, there's more to stuff. So like to sign the contract, to get my job done every single day, kick ass while I do have to do my work, and you will have the fruits of the labor. Yes, absolutely. But like there's times to do other things, and you have the freedom and the choices and opportunities to do those things. So like we were talking about, one of the biggest takeaways that you had was that when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to play, it's time to play. They never intermingled or commingled at the same time for me or for my wife. When my wife went to work, she's over there working, I'm over here working. There's no commingling of playing checkers halfway through or on the phone or doing anything. When we work, we work.
So for me, I think it was one of the first questions. I think you said to me, I don't want to stay and do eBay all day. Like there is more to life than eBay. And then
Yes.
when you said that to me, I was like, wow, it's true because I thought the same thing. I thought you was eBay 24/7. And all of a sudden, I come to visit you. And obviously, I know that at the beginning is a little bit, like it's new and everything, but I see you coming in and out your meetings. But then when you work, you do 100% your work, and then when you have fun, you was 100% having your fun. And we played, baseball, soccer, football. We did everything, absolutely everything. Yet there was still time for you to be 100% um, performing on all of your jobs. Everything was done in time, and that's the thing that really stuck with me is when I take the pictures, I do them as quick as possible or as efficient as possible because you use
Right.
that word efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and whenever I do the listings, it's the same thing. And now, for example, when I took that mindset back to the UK, for me, I said to you, I think the first week, I said, Tech, I'm doing 30 a day and I'm going faster than I was doing 15,
Yeah.
you know?
More free
So
time at 30 a day.
Exactly. And the good thing was that whenever I asked you just before, I remember just in the airport, and I said, what's the big difference that I'm gonna experience between 15 and 30? And you said you will have no BS time. Like there's you need to structure your days. You need to be clear and efficient on what you want to do. And I think for me, that was the main difference, like the biggest difference. That was it. It was to pre-prepare my work for tomorrow, for example. Start thinking about pre-doing the parcels, pre sourcing. It's just your mind just starts thinking differently. And I remember when visiting the warehouse of one of your suppliers, I said, "Do you remember when we were putting like the hats on the sides? You was on the stairs, and
Hmm.
I was saying to you that it's not that I had the pressure, but I wanted to know exactly what sizes you already had, what colors you already had, because I didn't want to make you waste any time. And when you
Hmm.
start thinking like that, when you start acting like that, all of a sudden everything becomes so much more efficient. So I don't know, for example, you have enough product, you have enough, the redundancy, the things that we always speak about to have enough of everything. So it's small things, but when I think you explained that to me, when you do one step out of the way for 250 listings a day, it
Right.
quickly becomes hours, if not a month, overall in your year. And the same goes with an extra picture or something that is just not efficient. So I'm already finding that at 30 a day. So I can imagine how refined everything was for you at 250. There was no room for anything.
Okay, so this is great. No room for anything. And my advice to you going from 15 to 30 was you have no time for BS. Now,
Yeah.
when people hear this, they think there's no room for anything and there's no time for BS. That must mean this is all consuming and this is going to take 24 hours of your day. But what I'm really saying is what we're really saying is you can, Arwen, you can get 30 done today and you can BS and you can get 30 done and you can BS and you can get 30 done. And it's going to take you 18 hours to do your work today. Or you can get your work done and then you can BS after it. And now 30 is going to take you a half day till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But you can't have all of those shenanigans inside of your work and still expect you to get your work done today. That's the part where you have no room for anything else because once you start introducing all that extra stuff inside of your schedule, of your work schedule, it's going to take too long to do it. So you have to eliminate that stuff, focus on your work, get your work done, and then you can go out and you can do anything else you want to do. So the 15 a day Arwin and the 30 a day Arwin, how does 30 a day Arwin have more time specifically, like granular? How do you have more time at 30 a day than you did at 15 a day? Double the output, double the money, double the payouts, double the sales, double the listing, double the shipping, double the put away. How do you have more time than 15 a day?
The first thing I realized is whenever you start to force a machine that is not properly oiled, you're gonna see where is getting stuck. In my case, for example, shipping was a massive one that wasn't properly engineered, let's say, yeah. I just changed one thing, which is instead of packing at home, I am packing now where my items are, and I'm saving 1.5 hours tech just by doing that. It's the same
Okay,
process.
let's break it all down.
Yeah.
Why did that take you 1.5 hours longer?
So there was not it was, for example, it was the amount of times I touched the product, which I know that in the calls and in the group we keep referring to that. Just touch as little time as possible the product. So for instance, I was checking my phone, picking up the orders, you touching one, you're putting it in a bag to then touch it again to put in the car. Then the car you're gonna have traffic, you're gonna have schools, blah blah, anything to come back home. Now you need to retouch it again to put it on top of the table to pack it. Then we touch it again to put it back in the bag to go to the post office. And then once at the post office, I need to take it again out to go and get it scanned and put it in the bag. So when you break it down, there's so many steps in that, and I never
Yeah.
realized about it. Now it goes from being taken wherever it's stored, straight into the bag, straight into the poly mailer, straight into the shipping bag, and that's it. And then I take them, and whenever I leave my place, everything is ready just to be dropped at the post office. And just by doing that, Tech, I promise you, my mornings is like, I kid you not, at least an hour and a half, like saved, you know? Um,
You know what's funny? When it takes
Yeah.
like 30 seconds to explain the process, your process is too long, too
Yeah.
complicated. Now, to explain your process now, it took 2 seconds. I pick it, put it in the bag, print it, drop it off. That's the
Yeah,
process. So, all right, we
exactly.
saved 1 hour and a half right there.
Yeah.
Where else was the machine not oiled and you're saving more time? Really, already an hour and a half savings already is the other 15 listings that you have to do today. Like now you're even just by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Number two, pictures. I had one picture in my listings back in the days, which I used to overlap the shoes, so one on top of the other. Now I realized that what I tried to show was the inside of the shoes. However, the inside of shoes were already shown on the second picture, so I was doing double of the work for no reason. Now I list from my phone. So, sorry, I take pictures from my phone, meaning that I need to put the phone down. Now I was using both of my hands to grab both of the shoes and do it. So this is like you're losing a lot of time. Whereas what I do now is simply I skip that picture and then I still hold the phone in my hand. So only by putting it down to move it, to pick it up again, to resume and recalibrate, that took me probably, I don't know, 30 seconds maybe, like 40 seconds sometimes because they weren't balancing properly. But 30 to a minute times 30 is
Half
already a
hour.
half an hour nearly.
Yeah.
Like that is done. So that was, I would say that was number two. And then I would say number three was, oh yeah, that's a big one. Putting it away. Putting it away, I'll tell you why. Because at 15 a day, and I hold my hands up, 15 a day, lazy. Lazy in the sense that I take pictures, I put in a bag, and I don't do well, I used to not do the polymaters where you go like in sequential order.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have beans. I used to basically be bean life. So open a
Okay.
bean, wherever there's space, you put it there and you put your number. Now, when you're trying to put 15 a day away, it goes very quickly. It takes probably 5 to 10 minutes. But now when you are lazy because you know you're doing 15, you stack 15, 15, 15, 15, and all of a
Sure.
sudden on a Friday, you can get away. Friday morning, a little bit of time, you get away.
Yeah.
But when I started doing 30 and I started not putting it away the same day, oh boy, I think the first Friday take, I had like 200 shoes needed to put away. I was like, okay, this is not happening ever again. So I would say that's the third one. Because the listings, I was always quick and I'm still quick. I do the sales similar technique that you taught us on the
Mm-hmm.
group.
Mm-hmm.
So that's no problem.
So the to put away 30 shoes, how long roughly?
It's around like maybe like 30 seconds between the SKU to update to like 30 to 45 seconds or so.
So maybe 15 minutes to put away your 30 pairs of shoes
No, a little bit more. Like sometimes it goes up to 45 to an hour. Take.
to put the shoes away?
Sorry, I'm not. I'm talking of the whole thing. No,
No, no, no,
30
no.
minutes,
To
30
to
pairs. Yeah,
to file it
yeah,
away into your inventory.
yeah. I would say like probably like 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay, great. 25 to 30 minutes to put all of our shoes into inventory. How long does it take to put 210 shoes into inventory?
A few hours, like probably I don't know, a full more time, like 2 and something hours.
Like it
It
takes
was
so
crazy.
much longer to do it all in one month than it does
Yeah.
to do it just at one time. And also, what happens is how many of these 210 that are listed sell throughout the week? And how many times are
Yeah.
we digging through the tubs trying to find it? Go ahead. I caught you. You're giggling about that one. How
No,
many
no,
times does
is
that happen?
so many times you go through bags, you've got no idea what it is, you can't find it, you print the label, you leave it there, and you leave the battle for the next day. And you say, you know what, I'll just look the next day because I need to go. I need to do this, I need to
Yeah.
flee, I need that. And everything starts catching up. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say it's definitely that wheel that I just had to oil like way, way better. And I know that there is still room for improvement. I know that so far it's working, but yeah. And I would say maybe the last one, but maybe we can touch it later if you want, is the sourcing aspect of the 30, which is different.
Go
Now is
ahead. Jump
more
in.
more efficient. So we touched on these not long ago, I think on a few calls, and we came to the conclusion that we have to run, look after the people and not the shoes,
The people,
or the
not the
product.
product. Yep.
Exactly. So what I was doing was chasing that one, two here, the trying to be everywhere, and at the end of the day, you end up being nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just tried to refine and study a little bit more the locations where I go and source. So perhaps a few. I don't know, Excel, where you track a little bit, where you perform better. I know that the flea at the end of the day is you never know what's going to happen. All it takes is one store. I am aware of that, but you have like those patterns where there is some that perform a bit better than others. So definitely looking into these ones. Trying to talk and develop more relationships. I would say that has been a massive that's another thing that I took from the US. The way that I saw your interactions with every single person that worked for you or with you, I would say, that helped you to keep bringing you stock. The way the instructions that you was giving, what you was looking, the way you approached new people, the way you approached people that you already had a contact, like all of those differences for me, I just never saw them until I saw them, and then I try to put them into practice and like get better at them by time.
Mm-hmm. So in America, a lot of people, they source thrift stores, flea markets, garage sales. And, I say a lot of stuff and it takes, you know, kind of like some aha moments, some light bulb moments. So like we were having a conversation on the morning call a couple of weeks ago, and you know we were asking a series of questions, and the ultimate answer was, and I didn't say this, but the ultimate answer was, you said, oh, you look for the people, not for the product. And that's exactly what I do. And that's exactly what the whole conversation was. But I didn't put it into that nice, neat of a package. Look for the people, not the product. And at the thrift store, you can walk into thrift stores, charity shops, and they're old faithful. You can walk in there, get 5 items, 10 items, 15 items. Great. At the flea market, you have opportunities, the car boot sales, you have opportunities to establish relationships with people that are out there also getting product. So when we went to the flea market, I would meet with certain people and they would have 50 pieces. I would meet with certain people, they would have 20 pieces. I would meet with someone and maybe they don't have something that I want, but I had the relationship and they sold you 10 pairs of shoes. So I was pursuing the people, not the product. And for a large portion of my eBay career, I spent a lot of my time at the thrifts. I spent a lot of my time at the flea markets chasing after the product, the one by one by one by one. Oh, you have two, great. Oh, you have three, excellent. And there was a point in my sourcing career where I switched it to, I'm no longer going to the flea market to source for product. I'm going there to source for people. And when you were up here, we would wake up early in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock. We'd be the first ones at the flea market. We'd be out there 6 a.m., boots on the ground. We'd be looking, finding a bunch of stuff, meeting a couple of people here and there that got 10, 20, 30, 50 items. And then after that flea market, I'd say, okay, Arwen, we're going to another flea market. It would be 9:30, 10 o'clock. And you say, yeah, but do you expect to find much? Because the golden hour has passed and all the good stuff is gone. And I say, Arwen, I have stuff there. Don't worry. I have someone there holding me something. And we're not going there necessarily to get the product right now. Maybe we'll find stuff. Excellent. Great. We're going there to find the people to always hold us the product because they know I'm coming at 10 o'clock. And we went there and it was hot. A lot of people were already packing up. And I found my person and I went through every single item that they had, took what I wanted, left what I didn't want. And even though we weren't there before the sunrise, even though we weren't there in the golden hour, you don't have to see what anybody else got at that flea market. I got the most stuff at that flea market, and we went there at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we didn't go to that second flea market for the product. We went for the people, to try to find more people, try to pursue more people, try to get more people that are doing this already out there looking. They're sourcing, whether they go to the bins, source from other vendors, they go to garage sales, estate sales, they go wherever they go to get the product. It doesn't matter. We are there looking for the people, not the product. And when you said that, that was a light bulb moment for me because you put it in a nice package. I said for an hour, I pursue the people, not the product. You had the light bulb that said, oh, this is what you're doing. You're pursuing the people, not the product. So once I started pursuing the people and no longer pursuing the product, my business exploded. I once upon a time had a scarcity mentality. I thought only one, I can only get one, I can only get one. Once I started pursuing the people, the scarcity went out the window. Once I started making relationships with people, the scarcity went out the window. We went to the number one shoe seller. When you walk into his warehouse, the scarcity stops at the front door. There's shoes everywhere. The amount of Hokas and On Clouds by the pallets, it's there, it's out there. But he pursued the people. He never pursued the product. So pursuing the people, not the product, was an absolute game changer for me inside of my business. And that was something that I started doing without really realizing it the way how you said it, nice in a small package with a bow on top of it. And I think that that is something very, very important. And that was a conscious decision that I made when I started the YouTube channel. I can go to my local flea market 20 minutes away, El Presidente. We went there at Thursday. It was raining all morning. We had just done yard work. We went there Thursday around 12 o'clock. There was 8 vendors left. It was raining. I didn't go there since COVID. I have not been there for 5 or 6 years. The 8 vendors that we saw, every single one of them still knew me 5 or 6 years later by they didn't even say hello. They said, oh, I don't have any shirts for you. We're talking, I haven't seen these people in 6 years, Arwen. And they still remembered me because I was pursuing the people. So pursuing the people, not the product, was like such a huge turning point into my business. And by you saying that, I think that connected a lot of dots. Because like, I'm not a trained speaker. I give my best advice, but like pursuing the people, not the product, that hit the nail on the head, man. And I'm sorry I went on for a while, but like even for me, that was a light bulb moment of pursuing the people, not the product.
So if I can give you, just to go back a little bit, because I've got a few things I would like to say. The first one is you showed me one thing, which is the reason why we went to a new flea market was simply because you said to me, yes, we're not the first ones, but we're giving ourselves a brand new shot to just go and find something else because we've already seen everything that we had to see here. The second thing is you never spend more time if there's nothing. If there's nothing, you wrap up, you go. If you need to be there 30 minutes and you can smell and you can see that no more action is going to happen, you are out of there and you are boots on the ground to the next location, for example. So that's a huge, huge, huge thing that I did. Why? Because I thought that I was already doing a good amount of flea markets. Now I found out I can double and triple the amount of flea markets that I could do. So what does this mean? This means that if I was doing 15 by doing that amount of flea market, the quickest option was just double it. And then all of a sudden you go to these new locations, you might be later the first week, and all of a sudden after the second week, you know the what's there. So you're going to be there earlier, because maybe it suits you more. However, the best thing for me was like, wow, I promise you, Tech, when I found a new place where I went, I think it was a third route on a Sunday, I think it was. I was like, here are my 15 shoes. I've been looking for them to here they are. And I wasn't putting the miles to come here. Now, the last thing I wanted to say regarding the flea markets and the people, you said 2 things to me that are like gold, which is, Arwen, it is unfair to go to a flea market and having people already holding stuff for you. When you go to that point, you know that you're good. Like those stress levels and anxiety and whatever just drops because you know that you go into something. Anything that you find else is extra,
That's right.
And that for me changed it. It was like, wow, okay, I need to start developing and having these people, which I've tried to work hard. And now my last thing that I want to say is you also said to me, don't skip professional vendors because professional vendors, and this is what I learned in the US, all these people that go to the flea, all these people that go and source to the beans and the thrifts and everything that they're going to have their table, they know what they're selling. They probably even have a bigger Rolodex, a bigger idea than us of what they're selling,
Yeah.
But they need to they need to make their markup as well because they are as resellers as we are, So when I stopped doing that and I stopped skipping them at here in the UK, for example, yes, you're going to pay a little bit more, but guess what? The return on investment on those spares that you're paying more is huge because they're already cleaned, they're already ready to go and take a picture. So you not only winning on a monetarily value, you're also winning in time. because yes, you're paying $5 more, for example, for the pair, but it's just a plug and play. You literally take it from your bag, take the pictures, and it's on. That's it at the same second. So, sorry, I went on a few points, but overall, that's 4 or 5 huge valuable lessons that I took back with me, and I've implemented straight away.
And so that's really good. So like I was saying, so like when I started my videos, I made a conscious decision not to go to my local flea market that I've been going to for almost 20 years. I'm the El Presidente. They know me. I'll have thousands of items. I don't want to make videos and the first day, oh, this guy has all the connections, thousands of items. Great. Connections take work. You got to put time in. You got to make the relationships. That takes work too. So all of my videos, when you go back to the beginning, I'm going to flea markets that are 3 hours from my house, 4 hours from my house, an hour from my house at minimum. And in the beginning, I'm talking about, I don't know anybody here. I haven't been here. I've never been to this flea market. I don't even know what city we're in. I'm not even sure. My wife found this flea market. I didn't even find this flea market. And what I did was walk in there, find the best items that I can have, identify the professional sellers, start relationships with the professional sellers. And now I got to the point that Arwen said, Arwen, I wake up in the morning time, and if you would have came here and we went to 10 flea markets, I find nothing, I look like a clown. Arwen, I wake up in the morning and you say, are we going to find something today? No stress, bro. Because I already know this person has 100 pieces waiting for me. I already know because I made the relationship. How long did it take for me to make the relationship? Go back to my first videos. The first day that I went to that flea market, the guy had a bunch of Lululemon. I bought it and I said, do you have any more? Yeah, I do this all the time. Great. I'll be here next week. Next week, I see him. I buy what he has. Hey, do you have any more? Hey, I do this all the time. I'll be here next week. Great. I'll see you next week. And that's all it took. The first time that I was there, I established someone that knew what they were doing. I established someone that can have the ability to repeat. And I will see you next week. It took me one time to go out there. And this one vendor will make me tens of thousands of dollars in profit this year alone, one vendor. Now, when I wake up in the morning on Saturday, I don't know what I'm going to find. Do you think I want to drive 3 hours away for a gamble? Hell no. I wake up on Saturday, drive 3 hours. I already got $1,000 in the bank, $2,000, $3,000 in the bank because this person is already, they've been looking all week. Send them a message. Hey, do you have a lot? I got a lot. Great. I'm ready to go. You think I want to wake up in the morning early? No. But when I'm excited and this guy's got thousands of dollars of profit for me, I'm out the door. So like, it is such an advantage to establish these relationships. The relationships need work. You don't have to start out with a huge bankroll, but you have to start out with a professional relationship with the proper guidelines of what you will accept, an established price, give them money, pay a good price, and tell them, you know what, you take this $50 that I gave you, take this 50, bring me 20 pieces. I'll pay you 100. Take this 100, bring me 30 pieces. I'll give you 150. Take this 150, bring me 50. I'll give you 200. Grow together as businesses. And my number one sourcer, you met him. The first time I bought from him, I bought 2 hats, 1 Vineyard Vines, 1 polo hat. That relationship has grown from $5 to thousands of dollars per week because we've grown each other like ladder. So like, you don't need a big bankroll to start a relationship. And I think people get maybe put off by that, or they're scared, or they're this. I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a huge bankroll. I came from, let me buy a couple things. Let you also be a responsible business owner. You take this money and you buy more. So then I can sell your items and I can have a couple more dollars and buy your more. I can give you more. You go get more. I get more. And we can just keep getting more and keep leveling up.
I think for me, one of the big realizations when I went there is you didn't only do it with one, which might find because people might say, yeah, but he's the best. You've established the same pattern with every single one of the guys and people that work for you at and hold stuff for you at the flea markets. I saw it with the guy that we went at 12 o'clock. I saw it with the Lululemon guy. I saw it with all of them. Every single thing that you've taken them from a test because you always do a lot of what is it that the thing in English, I forgot. You test. I've just seen you go from little to medium and big and big and big. And just all of you just growing and growing and growing, to the point where right now, where you are is crazy, especially your source of number one guy. I've seen everything from, once again, the fruit of his labor that he's done. It's insane. And people might think, yeah, but I'm only collecting these for somebody else. Well, let me tell you that small things on a big quantity can take you a long way.
Absolutely. So you started pursuing the professional vendors.
Yeah.
Things are different everywhere. Like you said, maybe you might have to pay $3 more, $5 more. The items are going to be clean. They're going to be in very good condition. They have an eye for product. They know what to look for. But also, this is the crazy part too. I don't know if it's happening for you yet, but even the professional vendors, this is crazy. I get the best price at the professional vendors too, because I'm reliable and I'm buying multiple pieces per week, and I get the first choice. So I get a take all price at a pick the items that I want offer. So they'll have 100 items and they'll say, give me $3 for each one. I'll pick out 80 of them. I'll give them the 20 I don't want. They put them on the table, and those items are 6 for everybody else. 3 for me to take the best, 6 for everybody else. And I don't even ask for that deal. It's just they understand the relationship of also, when I wake up in the morning and I know I got thousands of dollars profit waiting for me, I can shoot out the door and go to the flea market. For them, they wake up in the morning, they know I'm coming. They know they're going to have a couple $1,000 or a couple $100 or $300 or 200, whatever level you're at, and they shoot out the door. It's the same thing. They're getting paid. They're making money too. But like when you can establish these deals, they find the best stuff. 99% of them are going to clean it and prep it for you because they're also professional, and they give you the best price and the first pick. It's a magical relationship.
I saw that. I don't know if you remember the very first flea that we went. There was a lady that saw you, and I think you wasn't meant to go because you didn't tell her anything. I don't know if you
Right.
remember. She turned around and she's like, "Oh my God, you've here, and I don't have your stuff with me today. You should
Because I
have told
usually
me."
go on
And when
Saturday. I usually
yeah,
go on Saturday, but we went on Thursday because you were in town and you wanted to go to a flea market. So I
mhm.
usually don't go on Thursday. So she didn't have the stuff.
But for me, it was to see her reaction because technically, when you're there, obviously it means that it's payday.
Yeah, sure.
So for for her to be no annoyed, but like she was, damn, I don't have my stuff with me now. I don't have the stuff with me. I can't get I can't get a cash out from these.
Yeah.
Um, so it goes to show a lot of things. But I would say the most important is the reliability. I don't know how you say it.
Reliability.
How
Yep.
reliable you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for these customers, for these vendors, it's insane because for me to see that they know they could get more if selling individually, yet they prefer to go to you, look after you. When I saw, and I know I've touched a lot on the videos that we filmed, but when I saw the level of dedication of your picker, that for you to deliver the best product possible, there was no room for error, no room for if, buts, or maybes, nothing. It was just 100. And then he goes and what you wonder why you was the number one, for example, for so long. Is because he's also trying to be the number one picker. Ultimately, he has to be at your level for you
Mm-hmm.
to keep growing. So for me to see that from him, that from the other vendors, like for them to every single time everything was folded, clean, ready to go. It's little details that just probably just make the difference for somebody like you. And for me to see that mindset that you have where if something doesn't work or if someone doesn't have the product that you want, you're not scared. The day keeps going. Somebody else is going to turn up. You're going to meet somebody else, or someone will be able to provide you with exactly what you want. Don't you never lower your standards because somebody isn't able to acquire whatever you want. You're very clear. You're very, I would say, clear is the word. On what you want. There is just no room for questions. That's it. It is like this, and this is how I want it. Does it work? Yes or no? It's black or white, not gray.
Excellent. So how it's all great, it's fine, it's dandy to roll over here and see all of this firsthand. What did you do actionable or tactical over there in the UK to institute this stuff and go from 15 to 30? Because when you got on the plane, you said man to man, I'm going 30 per day. You could have went home and you could have been 15, 10, 8, 12. That could have been life. So like, what are you actively doing right now? Because it's great to say what I do and how all this stuff works. How has it been working for you? How have you used these things to go from 15 to 30?
So far, it's been mainly doubling up the fleas, so more time on the ground. That's just, I guess, is free. Effort is free, so we can all do the same thing. So just doubling up on that. While being at the fleas, I think taking a different approach with vendors. I think I was spoke a lot, but maybe not saying the right things, the right words, just like you did. So, do you have any more of these? That's just the most basic and simple question that can
Yeah.
take you to levels that you can't even imagine, because all of a sudden you're digging from the table to the back of the car to the back of a storage unit to the back of his garage, let's say. So you never know where you can end up. So that was, I think, a good thing. Second thing is, as we all know here in the UK, we don't have the bins. Perhaps we have other things such as Vinted, which is a great tool, great platform, which is online, which allow us to do a sort of arbitrage,
Arbitrage.
difference in price, yeah,
Yep.
where we can get something on that platform and resell on eBay. It's normally in a good condition. And once again, that is maybe not boots on the ground, but it's maybe fingers on the screen. And you need time, and you need you need to dedicate time, and you need to treat every single of those sellers just like he was treating some of the sellers at the flea market. Ask them if they have more, if they're willing to send you extra pictures and so on, and then you can acquire customers that way. So people, I think, and shout out to Jamie, because he taught me so much. He sources 100% on Vinted. I need to say thank you to him. But to see that there is a possibility to do it. Now there is a catch on that, is you can do it the way you do the flea market, but you need deep pockets, very deep pockets, because the postage and the fees quickly add up.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you know exactly your numbers, which is another thing that was lacking when I went to the US, is I didn't know all of my numbers, and knowing exactly what you buy. Now, if I see a product for $7.99, I know it's going to add up to $10.60. Is $10.60 hitting my metrics? This is what we need to know, and this is what we need to learn. And all of a sudden, the famous exercise of 1 to 100, which is in the group, you starts to get printed in here in your brain. And every single thing that you see, you don't see a product anymore. You simply see a transaction. You just see a plus 20. And that's how I see products now. I don't even see the Nike Hokers on Clouds. I just see them. This is going to bring me 20 to 30 back in 15 days or in 2 days. And that's how I'm making decisions now.
So the 1 to 100 exercise is like it's an exercise that I say, hey, everyone, especially in the beginning, they should do it. Did you actually redo the 100 to 100 exercise recently?
Yes,
Nice.
because my cost of goods has changed.
Nice. Very good. All right. So, we don't have to go 100% into this, but you saw a couple of items on Vinted. They were Adidas, and you purchased them, and you asked the $1 million question: do you have any more? And that resulted in you getting access to how many more pairs of Adidas from the person?
I think I got 20 extra pairs, so like around 30 something. I think it was 30 pairs in total.
Okay, 30 pairs total. And how many of them were originally listed?
10.
Okay, so that deal went from 10 at a good price. You bought all 10. You sent a message and said, hey, do you have any more? They said, yeah, I have more. And they listed 20 something other pairs. You got 30 pairs just by asking one question. That's going to make you hundreds of dollars, right? And then you showed me the transaction.
Yep.
And what did I say?
Straight away you said, do they have any tracksuits? Because that was the question they asked me, didn't you?
Yeah, I said, do they have any more? And you said you asked them. And I said, but did you ask them, did they have Adidas tracksuits? Did you ask them, did they have any more? Because you also do a little bit of clothing. And somebody that has 30 pairs of Adidas, they're going to have some Adidas pants. They're going to have some
Mhm.
Adidas jackets. They're going to have some Adidas tracksuits. They're going to have something. No one has 30 pairs of awesome shoes and garbage clothing. So like,
Yeah.
okay, I've exhausted their Adidas. Do you have Nikes? Do you have On Clouds? Do you have Hokas? Do you have clothes? Do you have pants? Do you have hats? What else do you have that I can engage in this conversation and we can make some money? Because like it doesn't always stop after the first, do you have any more? And I can't tell you how many times I've done deals where I look at items and I say, okay, do you have any more? They show me a couple of more and I say, do you have any more? And they go, yeah, I have this huge box actually. Okay, great. I go through the box. Do you have any more? Actually, I have another box. Why they don't go, I have thousands of more, I don't know. But why do I have to
Yeah.
keep asking and go from what's on the table to now we have a bag, now we have a box, now we have two boxes to now we're in the back room to now I say, do you have any more like from a long time ago somewhere that you've forgotten about? Actually, I do. They're in the back corner underneath this mattress that I haven't listed in 15 years, but they're all brand new in the box. That's how you find it. I don't know why we have to ask 50 times, but it gets to the point where I say, you know what I'm going to ask next? And they go, I do. And I do have more. And I say, great, let's go. So, like, just because we ask, do they have any more, which is the $1 million question, we got to keep asking and then we have to go adjacent. So a couple of weeks ago, I got hundreds of hats. And after we were all done, I said, do you have clothes? And she said, yeah, I do have clothes. I looked at them. They weren't what I was looking for. I said, okay, thank you. And I kept it moving. But that could have unlocked something totally different. So, like, do you have any more? And then do you have any more adjacent to this that I am set up that I can process and facilitate is always something that I'm looking for. And what does that bring it back to? Pursuing the people, not the product. We're pursuing that person that always has more.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, something that has changed is that when you said to me, that's another thing that I've started doing more regularly. Is you remember when working on the flea, and then you said you're looking at the store here, but you're already focusing and analyzing the next one there. And
That's
I
right.
feel like whenever you ask me that question, is you seeing the deal here, but your mind is already seeing what could be behind that picture
Mm-hmm.
of 30 pairs of shoes. You're already imagining the wardrobe of the guy that is wearing it, and you're already putting in your mind like a whole portrait of who could it be, what
That's
lives,
right.
what could they have. So you, it's like it's a never ending of you thinking of all the possibilities to either acquire more product, make more money ultimately, because that's what we all do,
Sure.
and because clothes and shoes go together. We're not asking for, I don't know, clothes and video games, which are maybe like two different, completely different worlds.
Mm-hmm. But also like the the lady who's at the flea market who's a weekend warrior, because we start to recognize the professionals. I've never seen this lady before. She's here. She has a bunch of kids clothes. She has some toys. That's a lady that I'm building a profile on, that maybe she might have video games. Maybe she's of a certain age, and the clothing that she has is of a certain age, the toys that she has is of a certain age. So if these are toys of a certain age, I'm looking for toys from that era. I'm looking for Dino Riders. I'm looking for Ghostbusters. I'm looking for Mad Balls, Blurt Balls. I'm looking for all this stuff of a certain age. And it's easy to do. You pick one up, and on the bottom, it's going to say Kenner 1997. Well, Lucasfilms. Well, this is a vintage 1997 Star Wars toy. What else does she have from this time frame? Okay, I'm also looking for clothes from the 90s. Okay, well, she has clothes from the 90s. It's an all over print Taz shirt, but it's a kid's shirt. It's cool. I don't really want it. It's probably worth, 10 or 20 bucks. Great. But like, I don't do a lot of kids' clothes. Fine. That's fine. She's eliminated from the clothing portion. But I need to hone in on these toys. And then what else from that time frame is good money? That's someone I would say, hey, do you have some video games? Hey, do you have stuff like that? And you can build a profile based on what they are presenting for sale. And I do a lot of that for these storage unit buyers or the house cleanouts that you guys have in the UK. I'm looking at what they have. Are these old cardboard boxes from U-Haul? Are these old USPS priority boxes? Because they change the box designs just like everything else changes the design. Do they have a lot of VCRs? Do they have a lot of VHS? Do they have trophies from 1997 where they got first place in a bowling contest? If so, I will hone in on the clothing because they took everything out of this house, and I know I'm looking for vintage here. I'm not over here looking for Veronica Beard. I'm not over here looking for Anthropology. That's new stuff. This is an old house. They're not going to have new clothing. These are old boxes. They're not going to have new clothing. They're going to have vintage. So I'm going to put on my vintage glasses and go, okay, I'm looking for, single stitch stuff. I'm looking for cool content. I'm looking for stuff of this era. And I already know opening up this box. What do I already know opening up this box as far as clothing goes? I'm looking at everything. This is an old, dusty house that someone cleaned out. What do I already know opening up? Like, I'm pulling off the tape of this box. It's going to have vintage clothes. What do I already know before I'm pulling off the tape?
I'm not sure.
These clothes are going to have damage from storage, and I need to pay extra attention to condition.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe some moth holes, maybe some orange, yellowing storage stains that never come out no matter what. So I need to check this stuff extra hard, extra careful if I'm going to buy this stuff. Some vintage with flaws is okay. But if you have a very nice wool coat and it's got moth holes in it, that can be easily missed. But if it's coming out of a house that I'm ripping the tape off for the first 30 years, I need to check over this wool coat before I drop 10 or 15 or maybe even 20. Maybe it's worth 200, but I can't hold it up when I get it home and it's got moth holes all over it. I need to hold it up to the sun and make sure there's no moth holes because this is coming from this kind of place. Versus if it's all new stuff, I need to look for, I don't want the fast fashion. I want the stuff that I'm actually looking for that's going to make money. So I need to sort through the fast fashion, pick up the polo that has, polo kayak. Okay, great. This is present day tag. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking for vintage at that one. If I see it, great. But like, we have to build these profiles on the vendors. We have to build these profiles on the people. We have to build these profiles on the supplier, because not only are they going to have access to different kind of stuff, you also have to dance differently with certain people. You have to talk differently with certain people. You have to relate differently with certain people. So like, when we do a deal with somebody from the bins, I already know the pricing. They're going to price based on weight. So they might charge $10 for a jacket I want to pay $5 for, but they're going to charge $3 for all the VRE. Great. I'll pay the 10. They can win on the 10. I'm still going to win. I'm still going to be profitable on the jacket, but I'm going to hit a home run grand slam on the VRE because I know how they're going to price, because I have assessed what they have going on. When we went to the guy who has all the hats, I already knew when we got there, I didn't say it, but I already knew he was going to try to sell me stuff I don't want. I already knew. So I already knew I had to have a way out or a way to navigate out of stuff I didn't want. And he tried to sell me some Indianapolis Colts bed robes. Don't want those. Those are never going to sell. No, thank you. I don't care what the price is, even $1. I don't want them. No, thank you. I want the items that I want. And we left out of there only buying items that I want. He presented me 10 or 12 different things. No, thank you. I already knew how I had to do that. So when I went to North Florida for the first time, never been to this particular place, found all the football jerseys, American football, I had to relate to him by showing him the respect that his product deserved. It wasn't garbage. These are high value. These are rare. These are special. I had to relate to him and let him know, confirm with him that these are great items. They're such great items that I respect them, and they're such great items that I respect them, that I'm happy to pay you a great price for them. And I paid $30 or $40 each, but they're worth $150, $200, $300, $500 each. So I didn't nickel and dime them. I didn't beat them up and say, these are all right. I mean, they're okay. No, these are great items, man. These are great players. These are Hall of Famers. You're like, you have a great collection here. I'm with you. Are you ready to sell these today? If he would have said no, I would have kept it pushing. He said, I will for the right price. What's the right price? I'm happy to pay the right price. I'm happy to pay the best price for the best items. And if your best price today is $40, let me pick out the ones that I want, because not every single one was worth 40, worth paying 40 for. The ones that were, I took and I kept it rolling. So we need to assess what they have, and we need to assess how we can dance with the person, and we need to figure out how we can talk and communicate with them where it is their idea to sell you the items because you are the best option. And I like to ask those questions that are 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, where if I ask them certain questions, I know how they're going to answer. And now I know that they have opened up, they have come to the terms, they have realized that I'm the best man for the job right here. And if I'm the best man for the job, I'm going to get the most favorable terms and the most favorable result.
So there is one thing, sorry to go back just a little bit,
No
is
problem.
one thing that I really like there where you said is even if he was charging $40 a jersey, you was only picking what you
Sure.
wanted. So
Right.
that's a huge, huge thing that I think we were discussing it today or a few days ago about whenever we come to do a deal, it's not because we're going to take a lot that it has to be cheaper. And I remember you saying to me that you would rather pay more for an item and get exactly what you want than getting a lot and then getting obviously what you want, but then you need to deal, store, clean, figure out how to get rid of that, make your
Mm-hmm.
money back, break even, and so on and so on, you know?
For
So
less, for less. So
for
take what
less,
I
yeah,
want and pay more than take everything for less money. Because the less
exactly.
money is the trap because it's the take all. You got to rent a
Hmm.
truck. You got to call your wife or your girlfriend to come help you. You got to call your brother to come help you. You got to sit everything in your living room for 3 months. You got to sort it. You got to process it. You got to have a garage sale. You have to have a flea market. You have to go on OfferUp. You have to throw it away. You have to waste your time. There is no profit in the stuff that we don't want, the percent that doesn't fit our metric. There's no profit in that when it comes down to time and money. There is profit in paying more, a fair
Yeah.
price, a good price for exactly the items that you want.
So a thing that I started realizing when I was with you, which I took back to the UK, was there is not a single time where I went to the flea with you and we came back, and while doing the holes, although I know that we didn't go like into much detail and everything, but overall, I've never seen you take a nail like on an item that you've brought back. So you've already done your scan, you've already done, you know, like your work on the sell-through rate and the profit that you can get. And that is one of the things that for me, for example, I used to not gamble, but because I have like this scarcity mindset where I need to take it all because I'm not going to find it again, you end up lowering your standards, you know? So for me, I stopped doing that because yes, you're buying 10 pairs of shoes, but out of those 10, realistically speaking, five are the ones that are just going to fit your business and they're going to be
Right,
in and out. And that's exactly what you want. Now you've
right.
got five that you perhaps already washed. They were such in poor condition that probably gone in the wash. So you've lost one. Then the other one has broken laces, has huge holes on the back. And by the time you realize you've paid way more money and you need to buy the five shoes instead of buy 10 because those
That's
five
right.
with when my pile because I have a bag that is like a flea like boot sale bag when it's not good either you know something wrong with it
Right.
and my bag was always growing a little bit and I was like this can't happen because that is money that I'm losing every single time. It's money that I'm chucking into that bag and I'm not getting back, you know.
That's right.
And I did the conscious effort to anything that comes back to my house now needs to be profitable and needs to be ready to go. So I can clean it, it's fine, but it's in good condition. It's a really good condition. And that was a huge takeaway that I would say thank you because I never thought about seeing it that way, where I know it's obvious, but sometimes we just get scared about I need it and then I check. And you is I check and then I take it.
So, all right, so that's great, but you run into two situations. One is you need it because you have the listing goal or the money goal, the profit goal, so you need it. The next one is the pressure of the situation or the pressure of the sale or the seller, where they have 20 items, they want you to, but you only want 4. So how do you do that?
Just need to stay disciplined and know that you can't take the forward. Just say no. And that's another thing. I started saying no way more times now than before because every time I was with you, it was no, 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 yes. No, 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 yes. You said no more times than yes. And at the end of the day, you start compounding all of those no's and just taking the good items and this no wonder you was finding such a good items and you was having like such a successful business because everything that was going into your store was literally exactly what you wanted. And
Hmm.
that's we going now to the metrics in the group that you ask every single morning, to keep track of it. And although perhaps I don't maybe put them every single morning, but I'm keeping them on my calendar, and I'm putting them, and I know exactly what I list and how is my store looking. And I think that's such a valuable metric, to have, to just pick exactly what suits and fits your business, and that's it. And I think that is the. I asked you this question the other day. Is that one of the biggest difference between the big dogs, the big sellers, the successful people, and the people that stay into like a regular thing and never sort of break through? Is that level of discipline? Same with athletes, same with everything in general. It's the level of discipline that you want to commit to.
Sure. So like all this is great, fine, and dandy, but Arwen, doesn't this has to make your life more difficult to say no, 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 to only buy the items that you want? How do you get past because you're choosing to not take 10 when I list 10 a day and I can just go home and do my work, to taking 4 and now you got to go find 6, or you're choosing to take 4 instead of 10 and you have to find 24 more items. This has to make your life more difficult. So like how do we get past that portion?
Well, in my opinion, from what I've learned, I'd rather put more miles and put more discipline into finding exactly what I want. Because let me tell you one thing, I'd rather deal with more miles than deal with more returns and items not as described and refunding people and upsetting customers and so on. So for me, it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, the answer is just is going beyond the point in my head where stop being scared. The stuff is out there. Yes, you're getting 4 here. I can guarantee you can drive an hour away, you can find another 10 or 15. Like the stuff is there. And for me, it was so hard to understand it, that the stuff, I thought the stuff wasn't there. And all of a sudden, stuff is popping from absolutely everywhere. So much that you even need to start saying no sometimes.
So all right, so very good. So um the in addition to the returns, the customer service, the more messages, the polishing of the garbage, the longer it takes to process, the fixing, the repairs, this stuff just simply doesn't sell. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't sell. And like there comes a point where we cannot list any more items that are not going to sell. Like your store gets bloated, you start to cripple yourself, and then you have this humongous problem after that. But if we're only introducing the 4 and not the 20, we have to deal with 16 bad items that we have to constantly rework, mark down, do all of this kind of stuff, or just keep listing the best of the best, and that part compounds. So all right, so when you came here, and this is no shot at you or anybody else, when you came here, you flat out said the stock is not in the UK. Now
Yeah.
you're saying you got to pump the brakes because you're finding so much. What is the
Yeah.
difference?
The difference is you, I don't know, maybe is I'm learning where to look and I wasn't looking in the right place. That's probably the biggest difference. And when you add that to everything else we've been talking, like the discipline, the looking for the people instead of the product, when you start thinking outside of the box, I think that's the golden one, is to start thinking out, because everyone can do what we're doing. Like
Right.
at the end of the day, the entry level, like the requirements for entry is nothing. Is everyone has a phone and everyone has a product that they can sell tomorrow. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say just to start thinking outside of the box, to start thinking who could have that product, and putting yourself out there. I think I was the first one guilty for this tech, which is I used to never tell anyone what I used to do. Never, nothing. I wanted 20 pairs of shoes. Yeah, I've got 20 brothers. For example, I used to say like all kinds of stuff, and I'm honest. But now it's so much easier for me to just say, listen, this is what I do for a living. I buy and sell shoes. I can pay you these, and that's it. And you know what? Most times than not, people want to help you. People actually respect it and respect the grind, and they would just say, okay. And I'm not asking for, another thing is beating people on the prices. That's one thing that I saw from you that opened my eyes, and I could not have had any better examples than the. Do you remember the situation with the cap where I said to you, "Hey, why are you paying £5 for that one when it's not?" Yeah, but And then as we're talking, you just find an RF Nike for
Yeah.
one buck.
Yeah.
And then you turned to me again and you said, now was the other one worth it? Because everything balances out. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, just I don't know.
So I think, and I don't know exactly how to like explain this or put this into words, but I think a lot of people are blind to the opportunity of money. So here, when we go to the gas station, I can find ways to make money at the gas station. I have found hats at the gas station for 5 that I've sold for 20 plus. I can find ways to make money in every single situation that I'm placed into or every single situation that I go to. And I don't know how to accurately explain it because I think a lot of people are blind to money and blind to opportunity of making money. And when you were here, we would drive down the street, and if there was no conversation, just to break the ice and get it started again, I asked you a couple of times, and I said, Arwen, you see that building? And you say, yeah. I say, somebody owns that. Like one person owns that entire building. They saw an opportunity that other people didn't see. We would drive down the street and I say, Arwen, you see this truck? You go, yeah, I see this truck. On the front, it says 139. That means there's 138 more of these trucks somewhere on the road by this company that's owned by this one lady or this one guy. They saw an opportunity that everybody else was blind to. So, like, if you're at the flea market, I think that we're blind to different opportunities available. If we're at the thrift, I think we're blind to these different opportunities. If we're one step up, or maybe we're blind to going one step up the ladder, we're blind to that next opportunity where, you know, we don't have to wait for the thrift store. We don't have to necessarily wait for the bins. Maybe we can go one step upstream and acquire the product. But like we have these blinders on where we limit ourselves to what's in front of us and what's in front of us only, or go to places like when I went to San Francisco, I could have went there and bought everything on the table, but I'm not blind to the actual big opportunity that I know this person has $100,000 for me. I know it. I can see what I can see, and I know they have $100,000 profit for me somewhere in this building. I was not blind to it, but Arwen, San Francisco has 23 million visitors a year. They have 10 million people that live in the city. 33 million people a year were blind to that opportunity that led to $100,000. Why? As resellers, we can't be blind to these opportunities. And I think, like, by everything that you're saying is that you're opening up your eyes, you're opening up your mind, and you're starting to see these opportunities where you can make money either in a conventional situation, flea market, thrift store, charity shop, car boot sale, or in an unconventional situation where you may be somewhere and you may be able to identify something where you can make money, or something that can improve your business, or a person that can help you with your business, because we can see the money and we can see the opportunity. It's very hard for me to explain it, but I can walk into anywhere and I'm very confident and I can make money. I'm going to places I've never been. I've never been to California. Left California with $100,000. I'm going to New York City next month. I'm going to leave there with money, and I'm telling you right now. So, like, it doesn't matter where we're at. I'm not blind to the money or to the opportunity.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think that that is because you have such a confidence and such a wide range of knowledge that you just know that it's yeah, you can be left, I don't know, in a desert island and you probably find a way to make some money. You probably start selling coconuts to the sailors. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, do you just
So
think
that's a good question. And speaking of coconuts, I have a tree service. We cut down trees and we trim coconut palms on a daily basis. Because if you don't trim the coconut palms, they'll land on someone's head and they'll kill a kid. They'll smash your car, they'll smash your windshield. You have to get your coconuts removed. So once upon a time, I used to trim the coconut trees, trim the palm fronds, put them in the back of the truck. You can't chip coconuts because they're going to muck up the chipper and your chipper's going to break. They're too fibrous. You can't chip them. So your whole truck is filled with coconuts. I do the job. I charge $40, $50 to trim every single tree. They have 5 trees. I get $250. I have to go to the dump. I have to pay the dump by the pound, by the ton, in order to dump my truck. Coconuts are heavy. They're filled with milk. So I had to do the job. I got paid for the job, paid labor, and then I had to go to the dump to dump the truck and pay to dump the truck. One day, I saw a guy on the side of the road, and he was selling coconuts. I have coconuts. I walk over to the guy and say, hey, how much are you selling coconuts for? $2 for the little ones, $3 for the mediums, $5 for the large. Okay, great. I have a tree service. We cut 100,000 coconuts down per year. How much would you like to pay me? I could pay you $1 for any coconut. Okay, great. Let me get your phone number. Every single time I cut a coconut down, I call the guy, he gives me $1. Instead of paying to dump coconuts, I leave them on the curb. The guy pays me $1 per coconut. I make $100,000 a year by selling coconuts, where before I used to pay $15,000 a year to dump coconuts. So it's less labor because we drop the coconuts, we put them on the curb. We don't have to bring them up the ladder and throw them in the truck. So I save on labor, I save on dump, I save on time. And I found a guy who'll give me $1 each per coconut. I make $100,000 on coconuts where I used to throw it in the trash. Why? Because I saw an opportunity. As I was throwing them in the trash, I knew I was throwing money away. I know people buy coconuts. I just have to find the right person that can buy coconuts with me. Now, when I met my coconut guy, he was a guy on the side of the road. Could he take 100,000 coconuts per year, year one? No. He used to come and take 40. He used to come the following week and take 80. And then he did 100, now 200. Now the guy's got 5 shops. He's got 5 stands selling coconuts everywhere in the city. He's buying coconuts from multiple guys. So again, I leveled up with him. And I was throwing away money. I was throwing away time. I was throwing away labor. And I identified how to make money out of literal trash that I was paying to throw away. Because I'm not blind to it. I wasn't blind to the opportunity.
But for example, let's just put all of that back into the reselling world, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
For example, what I hear by that is you are never blind to the opportunity, as you just said. And for me, that translates to you when you go out on the field now, you're not a fool. And you know that, for example, you're going to find a pallet of shoes. Yes, you don't sell shoes, but you know exactly who sells shoes. So you have an opportunity there to capitalize and make some money there. Now, you don't sell video games, yet you have already a buyer that will buy video games from you, and so on. And for, I don't know how I don't know, your network is like, and it's like a spider web, you know, like it's massive, you know. But I'm just saying that to come back to the reselling thing, is it basically is the same thing. You see an opportunity and you know by your knowledge, by your contacts, by everything, how to always, I don't know, capitalize, cash out. I don't know how you say, you know, but just get something from it.
Of course. And it has to be beneficial to my business. It has to be beneficial to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So like for you, and also these other people, they have to become known. They have to market themselves in a manner and in a way where they can get on my radar, where they can get part of the deal flow. So like for you, you live in the UK. If you found a whole trunk of, 1980s Ninja Turtles, and the lady's like, take all the Ninja Turtles for $15. Okay, there's 400 Ninja Turtles. You can spend the next month, Arwen, going through 400 Ninja Turtles. You can list them. You can make a lot of money. Or you spend $10 for the trunk. You get Lee on the horn and you say, hey, Lee, I got 400 Ninja Turtles. What do you want to do? Well, hey, May, I'll give you $10 each. And you make a quick $4,000. And let Lee, who's an expert, who has already marketed himself, he's already known, let him make another 4,000. Let him make 10,000. Who cares? But like for you to pick that up, not pass by that opportunity. And this is the thing. You go, well, it's worth 10,000. I'm selling it for 4. But you don't know anything about it. And what you would have done is you would have passed it. And not only would you lost on the 10, you would have lost on the 4. So pick it up. I know a little bit about this to know these are valuable. This is a whale of a deal. I know Lee. If I need extra confirmation, get Lee on the video chat, get Lee on the horn and say, hey, Lee, I'm looking at these Ninja Turtles. On the bottom of the foot, they say 1986. Ladies got 400 of them. They want $10. What do you want me to do? Buy them. At worst, he'll give you the $10 if they're garbage. You lose nothing.
Hmm.
But like, you
Yeah.
know, a couple of these indicators, Lee's going to go, is there any weapons in there? Because weapons are all the money. And don't even begin as a shoe seller to go down the rabbit hole of matching up toy weapons with toys. You're going to be there forever, my friend. Take the quick $10 per figure, get them up the road, let an expert deal with them, and you could pick up $4,000 by doing nothing. And then put that into your business and buy more shoes. So like, but if Lee never gets himself known, you walk past that because you're not a buyer for that deal. If I find shoes, Arwen has marketed himself as a shoe seller. Isaiah sells shoes. If I find the book deal of a lifetime, I call Johnny B. Right on his Zoom, it says he's the book guy. So like we have to market ourselves and get ourselves out there to get these opportunities if we want to be part of the deal flow. And for Lee to drop 4,000, that's the easiest money he's ever going to make because he don't even have to find the items. It's a win-win for everybody. So like there's money every single turn that we make. We just have to be able to identify how to get the money as quickly, as easily as possible. And I have a secret for everybody. eBay and reselling is the quickest way to make the money as easily and quickly as possible. Because there's a lot more we could be doing, a lot more skills we would have to learn, a lot more school we would have to go to make the kind of money that we can make reselling.
I do agree, and I've been having this exact chat with some fellow sellers from here from the UK, and we kept saying that is this tech, is this too good to be true? Is this real? Is this like a glitch in the matrix? Is this, how long is this going to last? So, you know, whenever I ask those questions and I see the kind of opportunity that we have, just take it, embrace it, take it with both hands, and just like go full on as quick as you can. Because as quick as you can, like don't let it test control, obviously, like lose control of the ship. But overall, it's just, you know, we're talking about AI a lot of the group lately, and about changes that might come in the future and everything. But for now, what we have now, the present, is, as you said, we should be required to have had 10 or 15 years of studies and working to
Sure.
like, especially for you, you know, Fortune 500 in order to
Sure.
sit down and do that. But yet we are simply selling stuff that other people don't want anymore. Um, you know, all those brands have spent billions in marketing, advertising, athletes and people and famous, and to get and to build that brand, and to have those brands to have a value for us. And then you can just go on the back end and simply give them a wash and sell them. I think it's fantastic and a beautiful thing to do.
I agree with you 100%. That's probably a great place to end it for today because I could talk to you all day and I'm sure people got a lot of value out of this, but that might be, as in America, we say that might be the spike after the touchdown right there, my friend. So you know that I have immense amount of respect for you and that I appreciate everything about you. And we had a lot of fun when you were here, and I am very, very proud of everything that you've accomplished behind the scenes. You haven't told anyone or tell anybody anything, but you are moving, popping, and shaking, and you are doing a beautiful job. And I appreciate you, man. Hopefully, we're able to see each other again, either across the pond or you come back to America. But you're crushing it, and you're just getting started, and that's very exciting for me. And you know, all the time that I put into the group and all the questions that I answer for everybody, it's because of people like you that, you know, take the football and scored a touchdown. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you for jumping on. I know you got a lot going on, but I'm building up my podcast bank. So you did me a solid, and I appreciate you jumping on. It's a great conversation, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So you know that I truly appreciate you, and your success is very important to me, my man.
Thank you. I do appreciate your kind words. I know you hate the flowers, so I'm not going to give you too many, but I can only say thank you, man. Like for me, it's been a life changing since joining the group, since meeting you in person, and I will be forever grateful for everything you've done. For the way that you've installed this blueprint for thousands of people, you've showed us the path. I've seen the path from my own eyes, and I've seen the rewards of that path. And for me, there's no one and nothing in on earth that will change me, to take a different one. That's it. I've seen it and I know what I want. So overall, I can only say thank you. I wanted to add one thing, which is I know last podcast you asked me to say like a sort of a Spanish saying or something like
Yes,
that.
yes,
So I
yes.
wanted to bring a new one just to keep
Please.
the thing. This one actually my nan told me, so thank you to her. But she said to me today, because I said to her that I'm always working, I can't go and visit, blah blah. But she said, um, "Quien no corre de joven trota de viejo," which means who doesn't run when you're young ends up jogging as an old man. So instead of walking and being, calm whenever we old and we can get to enjoy life, we end up running a little bit and jogging because we haven't done all the work that we could have done as young people. So for me, I love that one because that's how I am. I don't see it as a sacrifice. This is my job. This is my passion. This is what I do, for a living. I love what I do, waking up and closing deals and making more money and networking and everything. So and meeting people like you ultimately is, it doesn't get any bigger. But yeah, just pushing now that I can and always be grateful, humble, and be great.
That's it. So I appreciate you, my man, for jumping on. We'll have to chat again soon, maybe revisit what you got going on. And tremendous job, man. Great information today. And I think this will help a lot of people, like I said. So as always, my man, be great. Nice Kith
Be
shirt, by
great.
the way, as well. Be
Yeah.
great.